Hey guys, it's that Dividend guy coming back at you with another Robinhood portfolio update. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully everybody's having a GGD, a great green day in the market. You know I always wish the best for my viewers and subscribers. So guys, I just want to say I'm sorry for yesterday not posting. It was Martin Luther King Jr. Day and the market was actually closed. So the portfolio hadn't changed since Friday. So I didn't feel like updating you just because nothing had changed. But for today, we're sitting at $49,664.46 with a $2,100 loss, about a 4% loss today. That 1 week mark, we're down 1,400 at 2.7% loss. 1 month mark, we're up 672, a 1.37% gain. 3 month mark, we're up 167, a 0.34% gain. Then that 1 year mark, we're still up $9,200, a 22.76% return. And then all time, we are up $24,010.59, a 93% return. 36 bucks of buying power, going to be letting that sit, and we will have 3 payments. Realty Income will be paying us about $2.50 this month, in February. And then Apple, I believe, will be paying us around $2.50 as well. And then Avi will be paying us $150. So we're looking at right about $155 or $160 total for the dividend. Plus the 36 will be about $180. So we'll be able to buy a few more shares of Walgreens, or maybe some Realty Income or Coca-Cola, whatever we feel like. Generally, I try to buy the next set of months just because that way the dividend income keeps growing. But if I don't find a good deal or I can't afford to buy something like Apple or AbbVie, then, sorry, my dog's coming up. If I can't afford to buy something like Apple or AbbVie, then I'll just go ahead and buy more Realty Income, which is a position I want to grow anyway. And I've actually already bought my share of Apple for this month. So if I buy another, then I'll have to transfer some cash over, but it's not a big deal. But for the goal right now, I might as well just buy some more Realty Income because I am trying to build up that position just like Apple. But jumping in to the individual holdings, starting off with Realty Income, we've got 5 shares, $276.48 for market value. Average cost is right around $52 per share, so I'm up a little bit here. 0.56% of the portfolio is in Realty. Today we're up $3. Total we're up 17 with a near 7% return. Guys, it's been quite a while since Realty Income's been in the green for me at all. So it is cool to see it, trade up a little bit here. It is a dividend aristocrat. And guys, I do want to get my position back to where it was at 170 to 200 shares total. So I will be adding to this quite frequently this year. Then we've got Altria down a bit at 51.14, 320 for share count. Market value $16,000 and $16,364.60. Sorry, it changes because market's open. But average cost is right around $47.30. 33% of the portfolio is in Altria. Today I'm down $224. Total I'm $1,245 with an 8.3% return. Dividend aristocrat here, guys. And I think of Altria as kind of like my golden boy stock because this pays enough as of right now to buy either a share of Apple or a share of Visa. And so Altria really brings in that big cash flow that I need to purchase some of those more expensive stocks. Now keep in mind, it's not enough to purchase like Berkshire or a Costco yet, but it's getting there. So if I can buy Apple or AbbVie or Visa at a good price, then I'll use this cash flow to buy those positions because that's my goal, is to grow Apple and Visa over the year. But if it doesn't, then let's say like Apple goes to like a price I think is like obscene, like 350 or something, and then Visa goes to like 400, and I think they're a bit overpriced for me right now. I still have the option to just reinvest it back into Altria or buy more shares, like almost 6 or 7 shares of Realty Income as well. So that's the magic of having this passive income where I don't have to put any money in, is that I can put it wherever I want. And even though I want, like, my goal is to put it into Apple for the year, right? Just because that's the goal does not mean that's where I have to put it. If I consider Apple being overpriced, I'll just put back into Altria, or I could put it into Realty Income and make that monthly dividend keep growing. Then we have got Coca-Cola sitting at $62.60, 15 shares. This is one of those that I want to grow as well. $938 of market value. Average cost is around $60.54. Right around 2% of the portfolio is in Coca-Cola. Today we're down $1.70. Total we're up $30 with a near 3.4% return. Guys, Dividend King here. This is one of my personal favorite stocks. I drink at least one a day, so I might as well get some money where I'm putting my money, right? Get some payback from that company. As of right now, this is going to be one of the top 5 foundational stocks. I do want it to be, up there with Apple, Visa, Google, then Coca-Cola will be number 4, and Berkshire. That's how I want it structured. I want the top 5 to be at least 50% of the portfolio, if not more. I wouldn't be mad if Apple was 15, then say Visa was 15. That'd be 30, and then have the other two. So about 15% per position. That just means that I'm not going to minus out any AbbVie or Ultra or anything like that, but that means I do need to put some really heavy capital into other positions like Apple, Visa, and Coke. And that all just comes down to whether or not the valuation makes sense. As of right now, I do think Coca-Cola at the current price is still relatively a buy for me. So I would be purchasing more of it if Apple wasn't the main focus. But Coca-Cola is one of my favorite companies, and I'd happily add more at these prices. Then we've got Apple, down almost $10 today, with 10 shares, right around my average cost too. $2,200 of market value. Average cost is $218.89, 4.44% of the portfolio, so getting close to 5% is in Apple. Today we're down $100. Total, we're still up $13 with a 0.6% return. Guys, I will buy more Apple at these prices happily. Then we've got AbbVie at $172.16, 95 shares, $16,000 worth of market value. Average cost is $95.19. 33% of the portfolio is in AbbVie. Today we're up $60. Total, we're up $7,300 with an 80% return. So guys, I'm just holding this one, letting it grow. The dividend's $155 a quarter, and 80 cents with Apple and Realty Income. That's just going to keep growing. So this is definitely the best individual investment. I'm just going to let it keep growing. And as of right now, I'm either going to buy, since I said earlier it doesn't buy me a share of Apple or Visa, I will happily buy more, Walgreens with it if it's below my average or near my average cost, or add some Realty Income with it. So there's still places to put the money, even if I can't buy the 2 stocks that I'm really hoping for. If I can't afford it, I'll just either hold the money in the brokerage account and wait till next month to buy those shares, or I could just reinvest it into Realty Income or Walgreens and keep that monthly dividend growing every single month. Next up, we got Visa, $323.21, 1 share. Average cost is around $270. 0.65% of the portfolio is in Visa. Today, we're down $371. Total, we're up $55 with a 20% return. Guys, Visa is going to be the second biggest position. I want it to be around 15-17% of the portfolio. And my big issue right now is it's really high above my average cost. I'm paying a 20% premium. I do think it's worth it. Like, it's a great company. It's one of my favorites. Honestly, I think it is up there with Apple with the best business when it comes to ecosystem in the entire world. Love the business. Use it every single day when I pay bills. I swipe my Visa card. So this is one of those that if it took over as the biggest position, I would be okay with it. Simply because I think it's that good of a business. Now, I'm struggling because it just seems to go up, 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 up. Like, the past 5 years, it's had a couple dips, but it's not like a crater type thing. So there are some valleys, behind the peaks, but it's still few and far between. For the 1-year chart, since September, it's up. So I just need to be patient. I think there will be a great buying opportunity with this company, and when it hits, I just need to have some cash set aside to really take advantage and buy up a bunch of shares. I need to buy a huge amount of shares. So that's part of my goal, is to set, like, right as of right now, I'm helping my girlfriend pay off debt. We're putting about $500 towards her car right now, and then we're gonna be paying off student loans, which is fine. And that $500 and the car payment will go towards student loans, and that'll pay it off before the end of the year. So that's our goal. But I'm still trying to find a couple $100 here or there a month that I could put into the portfolio. As of right now, my goal, I have like $2,500 in savings. So my goal is to get to $3,000, which I think next month, being February, because I just technically got my first paycheck in January this week. So my second check in February should allow me to put $500 into the savings account. Therefore, I should be able to put about $300 to $400 into the stock market again, which is what I really want to do, because then the portfolio grows exponentially. And I'm okay with putting it on the sidelines, investing overall, putting it on the sidelines for a little while to pay off debt, because then that frees up a lot of money in both of our budgets. And then, as a household, we can choose how much to invest from our account. And then she has an account as well. She owns stocks. She works in the healthcare industry, so she owns like Eli Lilly, Merck. She owns AbbVie as well. She owns Walgreens, and so she knows that field really well. But she's kind of more of a passive investor. The thing that is cool for her though is she actually knows a bunch of the medications, so she knows what's like getting like renewed, what's not, and what medications are falling off. So she knows how to kind of play that market really well, and she can identify like she knows all the medications because she works in the pharmacy. So she knows like Eli Lilly is insulin. I didn't know that and of course I've never studied Eli Lilly, but she has that competitive advantage in the pharmaceutical space. So I'm like, that's where you need to be investing. She's made a killing, guys. Like, she's made so much money in pharmaceuticals, and it's awesome to see. But she also owns stuff like Realty Income. I think she also owns like Coca-Cola or like Altria as well. So she owns other things outside of the pharmaceutical industry, but she's done so well. But paying off, like, once I'm done paying off debt, like just collectively as a couple, my goal is to buy Visa stock or Apple stock every month, regardless of what month it is. So like usually, say it's January, I buy Coke, right? In February, I buy Apple. In March, I buy Visa. Eventually, when I get the capital freed up, once we're completely debt free, except the house, because we're doing the Dave Ramsey baby steps together. Once that happens, I'll pay her rent, right? But like we'll pay our rent, which we split. But then that frees up that $500 that I'm using specifically for debt every single month to split between Apple or Visa. So as of right now, Visa's $323 and Apple's $220. So $500. I need like $550. Well, if I put $500 a month in, then that $500 plus the dividend that I make, which I mean, Altria is $300. Like I get like $350, and then second set of months is like $157, right? Or 160, and then the third set of months now is like 305. So with that 500, I'll be guaranteed to be able to buy like a share of Apple, and then with what's left over from the dividend, I'll be able to allocate that towards like Realty Income or more Walgreens, or I'll be able to buy a couple shares of Coca-Cola with that. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is once we're debt free, besides the house, I can start allocating that capital and buying a share of Visa or Apple no matter what. And that's when you'll see, like, that's what I'm planning on doing. We're going to be debt free by the end of this year. That's our main goal, is throwing that $500 towards debt. And then after that, I'm also building up my savings, putting like $200-300 in savings on the second check of the month. But once that debt is paid off, that's going to be equivalent to like, if I'm putting $500 into savings, extra, right? Because I'm paying rent and then I'm putting the money in savings. I can then put the $500 in the portfolio, and then it's just going to start growing exponentially. So that's when I'll start buying a share of Apple or Visa every single month. And I'll kind of get back to where I was when I was younger. So when I was like 22, 23, I'm like 29 now, I was putting like $600-700 in the market a month on top of living, because my expenses were so low, and I tried to take advantage as much as I could. And now that there's been like ups and downs in life, things change, and life changes. So I haven't really been able to allocate as much capital as I would like to, or as I used to, because life changes. I've got a girlfriend now. We've got a house now. Like, we've got dogs. So it'll be nice to be able to, live my life as well as invest as much as I possibly can again. And that's really where you're going to see Apple and Visa take off. But then finally, we've got Walgreens at about $11 a share, down $1.60 today. 1,200 shares, $13,000 of market value. It was up to almost 15, but average cost is $9.73. 26% of the portfolio is in Walgreens, and you can see today we're down nearly $1,900 to $2,000, down 13% today, up $14,000 total. So, we're still in the green, guys. We have a near 12% return. So, I bought it right before earnings, and apparently I should have sold it. Like, look at this. It was up to almost $13 a share But keep in mind, guys, one of the reasons why the main reason why I did not do that, and I've had comments and people asking me on Instagram, like, why would you buy Walgreens? What's your out? Like, what do you plan on doing? I plan on holding it, guys, because this company pays me now $300 every quarter. This is close to what Altria pays me. And the thing is, guys, they've already done a dividend cut, and management has changed. So I feel like if they were going to cut it again, they would have. As of right now, the dividend's about 48 to 52% of their cash flow. So I feel like the dividend is now in a sustainable place. It might not grow. It doesn't necessarily need to. My goal for this company, as well as Altria, and honestly, if I could get AbbVie to this amount of shares too, I would. It's just it's so high up at this point that I don't want to touch it. The main goal is to buy enough of a company to buy itself, which Altria does, AbbVie almost does, and then Walgreens does. Like, I could buy like 30 shares of itself right now, so it can reinvest, or it can buy something else that I think is a better, higher quality company. So Walgreens is just like Altria, is my vehicle to buy Apple and Visa. So that's why, like, being able to put more of my actual job money into the portfolio is awesome, because it grows faster. But I don't have to, like, that's why dividends are so beautiful, is because I don't have to put any money from my paycheck into this portfolio, and it reinvests. So like when AbbVie, or excuse me, when Altria just paid us a dividend this month, I could have bought, 5 to 7 shares of Altria forever at the current price. Or like when AbbVie pays me, I can set it up to buy, about 3 shares of Realty Income forever. And then when Walgreens pays me, I can set it to buy 30 shares of Walgreens at whatever price it is that day. Or I could buy a share of Apple when both Altria and Walgreens pay me forever, and I don't have to put another dime in. So that's the beauty of dividends, is the portfolio, it doesn't start that way, right? Like when I first started, I was getting like 45 cents from Coca-Cola, or like 25 cents from Apple, right? Like these, and like 96 cents from Altria. Like, it doesn't start out big, guys. That's really the beauty of investing and sticking to it, is like, I've invested for 7 years. So I'm 29. I'm turning, I'm 29 this year. I'm turning 30 this year. So I've already done this for 7. I'm turning 29. But I've already done this for 7 years. Like in August, I believe it'll be 8. So it's like, I've already put nearly a decade of my life into doing this, and this shows that longevity pays off, right? Like, some of the companies I've bought aren't great companies, right? I bought like AT&T, that cut the dividend and they had a huge business overhaul, right? I bought like Pier 1, that went out of business, was actually ended up being a really good trade, because they paid us a decent amount for the stock when it went, when we had to sell it back to them. But not every company, like SKT, Tanger Factory Outlet Malls, they went out of business or spun off. There's been a lot, that haven't been great long-term investments, and that's okay. Like, I've owned Disney for like 6 months. Like, I sold my Coca-Cola stock and now I'm buying it back. I sold T. Rowe Price, and eventually I'm probably going to own it again, because I just thought Walgreens was a better deal. So it's like, there's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be mistakes. But overall, the companies that I've picked and held for the past 7 years have gone up in value. I'm richer now than I ever would have been at 29 if I didn't invest. So I'm like a living, breathing example. And there are people who have better returns than me and bigger portfolios too. So it's not like I'm special or anything. I'm just a kid from Iowa that, picked up the the Richest Man in Babylon, and The Psychology of Money, and The Snowball, and Buffett. There's the Tap Dancing to Work. I have books like sitting in front of me, but I'm a kid that read investing books, right? At like 21, 22 years old, and decided, fuck it, I'm going to throw some money in the market. I had everybody in my life telling me it was stupid and I was going to waste money and I was going to go to zero. Here I am 7 years later, and all those people are saying the same thing, and I'm $50,000 richer, right? So go with your gut. Not everything's going to be perfect, right? I've lost some money in the market. Right now, I'm sitting at a $2,000 loss pretty much on Walgreens, and you don't see me freaking out about it, because the dividend is what I'm really after. So overall, guys, I'm excited to be able to pay off debt this year, be debt free aside the house, and then really start pumping money into these positions, getting it to the point where like Altria and Walgreens pay me $500 a share, or $500 per month per quarter, and then I buy both Apple and Visa. That's the long-term game. But then, guys, for the watch list, I want to buy Google at around 200 is fine. I would hope like 160, but honestly, I'll buy it when it's lower than the average cost. And I owe myself 3 shares of Google because I bought it and sold it, and I was stupid. And then Berkshire B, honestly, again, I'd probably just buy it here. But for shares that I owe myself like 70 shares of Coca-Cola. And I owe myself another like 2 shares of Visa and another 165 at least of Realty Income. So I got some buying to do. But with that being said, guys, I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that like button and the subscribe button on my channel, That Dividend Guy. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another Robinhood portfolio update. Take care, guys.